Lauren from tastypc.tv. Today we're taking a look at Gigabyte's Z77-D3H motherboard. So this Ivy Bridge motherboard is what I'd like to classify as a value option, but just because it's got a cheaper price tag doesn't mean it's not a great choice for your next rig. So this is the first time that I'm going to be properly reviewing a motherboard, so any feedback is greatly appreciated. Let's get started. Taking a look at the box, you can see that the D3H motherboard has got ultra durable 4 features, and these are humidity protection, electrostatic protection, power failure protection and high temperature protection. The motherboard also comes with 3D power and 3D BIOS. It obviously says 77 chipset. It's got PCIe Gen 3 and it comes with Virtue MVP. So if I now show you the back of the box. So here it just talks to you for a bit more about the ultra durable features. Here it talks to you for a bit about the 3D power and 3D BIOS. And here it tells you about the Intel Smart Response technology. So if I just zoom you in a little bit so you can see the specs. And this is a good time to pause if you want to get a chance to read them. So the box also shows you what features the motherboard comes with. It says it's got all Japanese caps, it's got dual BIOS and has on-off charging. So if I then show you what comes inside the box. So inside the box you get 2 SATA 3 gigabit per second cables, and as you can see one has got right angled and one is straight. Got 2 SATA 6 gigabit per second cables, and once again one is right angled and one is straight. Got the rear I/O shield, and this is metal rather than padded. You've got an installation disc and a Gigabyte sticker. You've also got a manual. And then lastly you've got the motherboard itself. Taking a look at the motherboard, you can see the heatsink and the VRMs. Now this motherboard hasn't been designed to reach amazing overclocks. Here we've got the dual channel 1.5 volt DDR3 memory slots, and these can support up to 32 gigabytes of memory, up to 2400 megahertz when overclocked. So here we've got an M-SATA slot, and it's really nice to see one of these on a value board. And this supports the Intel Smart Response technology, although if you use it, as the sticker says, you will lose the bottom SATA 2 port. So here we have 2 PCIe slots, 3 PCIe x 1 slots, 1 PCIe Gen 3 x 16 slot, and 1 PCIe Gen 2 x 4 slot. So this motherboard has only really been designed to be used with single GPU systems. Now I'm going to take you for a tour around the board. Firstly, we've got the 4-pin power connector and a 4-pin fan header. We've also got the CPU fan header. So here we've got another fan header, the 24-pin power connector and an internal USB 3 connector. Here we've got 2 right-angled SATA 3 ports and 4 straight SATA 2 ports. Now I know with value boards every penny counts, but I really wish they just made it a little bit more expensive and just made these ones right angled like these ones. So all of the SATA ports have got RAID functionality. We've also got the front panel connector and the TPM connector, 3 USB 2 headers and the COM port. We've got the 4th and final fan header, the front panel audio connector, and then lastly we've got the dual BIOS chips. So now I'm going to show you the rear I/O ports. First we've got 2 USB 2 ports and the PS2 connector. We've also got VGA, DVI and HDMI ports. We've got 4 USB 3 ports and 2 more USB 2 ports. We've also got a gigabit LAN port and the front panel audio connectors. So now I'm going to move on to the conclusion. So now it's time for me to tell you what I think of Gigabyte's Z77-D3H motherboard. So it is an entry level board and you really can tell when you are using the BIOS and when you're overclocking. But it is what you'd expect from a motherboard of this price. If you are one of those people that really wants a fully featured overclockable motherboard, then you are better off going for something higher end in Gigabyte's range. But saying that, I do get a reasonable overclock. I did have a problem with the BIOS freezing on me a few times, even after I updated it to the latest version. But I did push through, and in the end, I got my i5 3570K to 4.7 GHz at 1.33 volts. I really did try and get to 4.8 GHz, but it didn't matter how much I increased the volts by, it just wasn't having any of it. So I think that 4.7 GHz is probably the max my 3570K can do. But I have just got it, so this is the first time that I got a chance to sit down and overclock with it. So I am really looking forward to overclocking a higher end motherboard with it and seeing how that compares to the D3H's overclocking abilities. I did try and get 4.7 GHz at less than 1.33 volts, but it just wasn't stable at all. So overall, overclocking with the D3H is quite a fun experience. It doesn't have some of the fancy easy features you see with other motherboards, but that just gives you more of a chance to sit down and fiddle with it yourself. It does come with the easy tuning software that does allow you to auto overclock it to some degree. Personally, I really would recommend just having a go yourself. So this motherboard does have pretty much everything that your mid-end gamer needs. Does support crossfire, although if you are going to be using more than one graphics card, I do recommend investing in a higher end motherboard, because like I said before, this motherboard really does only support single GPU. So there was only really one thing that annoyed me about this motherboard, and that's the 4 straight SATA ports. This probably won't annoy a lot of you, because I imagine if you are going to be getting this motherboard, you have maybe 1 or 2 hard drives, maybe a hard drive and a solid state drive. You probably won't even notice it really. Maybe it's just me being picky. So this motherboard comes in at under £80. I think that's an amazing buy. I think that's amazing value. Because of it, it's going to be getting Tasty PC's Value Award. So I am currently redoing my award system, which is why I don't have a logo here to show you. Although I know that when I finish with the award system, the Value Award still will be there, and this motherboard definitely deserves it. So that was my review of Gigabyte's Z77-D3H motherboard. If you liked the video, hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.